Namaskar. मी सो Manjusha Kelkar, founder member of Breakthrough Higher Education. We guide students in their journey for medicine till PG. Now I'm very happy to have Himaya Zogoekar live from Philippines. So let us have a big round of applause for her with all my viewers whosoever are viewing this broadcast. Now, she basically is a very bright student, and I know her since her 12th standard. So, let me welcome Kimaya. Yes, Kimaya. Hello.
Hi, ma'am. I'm so grateful for being here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk. Today, ma'am has invited me to talk about like my experience and my journey of studying medicine in the Philippines, and I'm more than happy to answer all the questions to people who might be curious about studying medicine in the Philippines and all the doubts and questions they may have.
Great. So, shall we start, Kimaya?
Yes, ma'am. Let's start.
All set?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, as I know you, you have got good marks in 10th, good marks in 12th, a good score in NEET. But still, tell me something about yourself. How was
Uh,
your childhood like, and where did you go to your school, and how it was like, and in which part of India you belong?
okay, so I am from Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, I'm from Mumbai, and in Mumbai, very specifically, I'm from Chembur. I went to Loreto Convent School, which is a state board school, and my childhood was never very stressful or hectic. Like, I mean, I was studious, but there was never any pressure from my parents or anything like that. Like, I always had fun too. I played a lot. Pulled pranks, everything. But yeah, I enjoyed studying as well. So that's how my childhood was. And eventually, 10th and 12th was a bit hectic, a bit stressful.
Okay,
Because
if I may interrupt you, because I have heard a dialogue from one of the doctors. Whenever a lady used to visit, or ladies used to visit her, she used to ask, "Is your son or daughter in 12th?" Okay, then if you have a high BP, it's normal. So anxiety people face when their kids are in either 10th or 12th, especially mothers. But yes, please continue.
So actually from 10th and 12th, it actually started in my house. Like, you need to study, you should study. And before that, I never had this thing in my house. Like, you should study. If I studied, it was because I wanted to, or like because my parents wanted me to like learn. They would be like, let's take this up, do this. But it was never like, now you're going into the real world. But like from that time, I started getting the real talks from my parents. Like, you have to become something in life and everything. That's pretty much how I was, very basic
Great,
girl.
great, great. So, if I may ask you, when was that time in your life, or a eureka moment per se, or a moment where you decided that you would choose medicine as your career?
So I guess this happened after actually, it was during my 10th grade when I had to give the aptitude test. And in my aptitude test was when it was it was filled with things related to healthcare. And ever since I was a kid, I would just keep repeating I wanted to become a doctor. It made no sense. Like, how kids just say like I want to be a teacher, I want to be this. So I had that fixed in my mind, and then this aptitude test happened. I was interested in science, and it was actually a process of elimination at that time when I said I want to do medicine, because it was like I engineering
I
was
don't
out
want to
because
do
of my
physics.
aptitude.
Was
Yeah,
it
I don't
like
want to
this?
do
I don't
physics.
want to do physics.
Yeah. It was like I don't want to do physics, so engineering has to be out. Then it was like I don't want to do BSc, because like I thought at that time that I need some adventure, and I thought like medicine would be adventurous. Like if I became a surgeon or an ER doctor, I would have some kind of thrill in my life, because I didn't want to do like the same thing every day.
Hmm, hmm,
So at that time, it was that I didn't have a proper understanding of what medicine was. But because of all of these reasons, it was like after my 10th grade, I kind of decided by the process of elimination.
Great, 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 great. Then, was it a roller coaster ride, Kimea, from 10th to 12th, 2 years? What will happen
Um,
next, or will I get, will I not get? What if I don't get admission? And were you pretty clear about the procedural requirements of entering into a medical college?
so I had no idea about like the procedure requirements, and I was like after 10th grade, it was like I got good marks, and I thought,
How
okay,
much, if it's okay to share?
yeah, I mean 93, but I think it's not considered good anymore, maybe because everyone's getting
Don't
in
say
the
that. Don't
90s.
say that. You will give complexes to other kids who have got 80s.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think it was, I thought at that time, like now I know it's silly to base your decisions on your 10th grade marks. Because irrespective of whatever you get in the 10th grade, it doesn't really decide much in the future. But at that time, I thought like, okay, I scored well in the 10th, so I could do well in my 12th as well, and it wouldn't be that difficult to get into a medical college if I just put my mind to it. Um, but I didn't realize it was a completely different league of competition altogether. Like what I had seen was a pond, and that was the ocean. um, so there was that, and so 11th was this false sense of achievement for me, where I was
Hmm,
like, oh,
hmm,
I
hmm,
can do it.
hmm.
And by the end of 11th, it was like, I'm trying so hard, but the class tests for NEET and everything, I'm not scoring well. So I was like,
Hmm.
it's okay, in 12th, I'll do better. And it never happened because I was still struggling. I was really bad at physics. And it was like I would try and try, but something was missing. So at the end of it, I got a score, but it wasn't like a score which would get a general category child admission in a government college.
True.
So
So you
yeah.
got a very good score. As I know your score, I won't disclose, but you got a very good score. But as you said it correctly, it was not enough to get a seat in government college, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It was
So
not.
then
Hmm.
after that, what happened? How was your mindset at that point? Did you think about, oh, I will repeat? Because this is the multiple things which I usually come
Mm-hmm.
across kids when I'm counseling them. They say, no, ma'am, I'll work hard and I'll repeat and I'll get good marks next time. Or
Mm-hmm.
I won't do MBBS anymore because I'm not good enough to do MBBS because I didn't score
Uh,
that much to get into a government college, or I'll do BDS or something like that. So, what was exactly going on in your mind at that point?
so actually, I still remember the day after NEET is when I realized, like, I mean, I think everyone will get a sense for themselves after they give an exam. How much are you actually going to get? Maybe not an exact number, but you could at least tell, like, I'm not going to be a topper or something like that. So after the exam, I was really dejected because I knew in my heart that I'm not going to, get a government college or anything. Like, even if I do, it's going to be after many rounds in some, like, it's not going to be what I wanted. It's not
Hmm.
going to be the best or something like that. Then in my mind, it was like, I don't want to do BDS because I was never interested in dentistry. And so, in the next thing I was interested in healthcare was physiotherapy. But at that time, I remember feeling like I really feeling really lost. I in fact have a friend who entered physiotherapy, and we both were thinking of the same thing at that time. But my parents told me this, that if you wanted to do physiotherapy from day one, we would have supported you wholeheartedly. But the
True.
fact is that you are making a compromise because you didn't get a good score. Now you're going into physiotherapy. Will you do justice to the profession? Like,
True.
would you do it well? Is that, do you have the qualities for it? Because physiotherapy needs a completely different mindset than medicine does. It needs a different personality. It needs like a different type of person to be able to do it. And my parents told me clearly, you are not like that right now. You might have to develop your personality if you want to do it, but you are not interested in it in the first place, so don't do it as a compromise. So after that, we like started searching, and we
Hmm.
found Kirkar ma'am. And at the
No,
time,
it's okay. We will not go into that.
yeah,
But
but
yes,
at that
why
time,
not? The next question for you, Kimea, would be, uh, why not India? That part you answered, because you were. It's not that you were not getting admissions in Indian colleges, but you were not getting it in maybe government colleges. Although you, if you would have waited for the last round, you could have got admission in a government college, in somewhere interior government college per se. That much I am sure about, knowing your score in NEET, because you appeared for NEET back there in 2017, I think. So
yes.
you had a pretty good score at that point. Okay, then why Philippines?
Why Philippines? So actually, at the time when like right after my 12th and we were deciding and everything, we were as clueless as anyone. Philippines is actually everyone, even when they hear it, till date get shocked. Like, Philippines, no one has heard of it. But the reason being is, number one is because English is their official language, and like there's no need to learn another language. Number two reason is, there is a lot of how do you say, clinical exposure very early on in medicine. So from second year itself, like students can start talking to patients. Like it's very very less, but it starts a bit from the second year, and third year and fourth year has a lot of heavy clinical exposure. And also, like we were told about the cadavers, which is actually hard to find enough in medical colleges, and it's
True.
so
Nowadays, it is
yeah.
very hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
but in the Philippines, you have like a fixed number of cadavers definitely for students. So yes,
Great,
based
great,
on
great.
those reasons.
So I think all this you have heard when you opted for Philippines. Now you have experienced. So that is the major difference. That what you heard was maybe 80 or 90% of it was true. Whatever you heard about the medical system in Philippines. So why Philippines? We have understood. Can you just take us to the journey of BS and MD?
Okay, so BS, so basically, once you're done with your 11th and 12th grade, and you need to do BS, like BS is a requirement because MD is what it's called. Like the MBBS in India is called MD in the Philippines. It's considered as a
So I would
master's
like to
degree.
clarify again with the viewers that what we call as MBBS is called as MD in Philippines. So it's not
Yes.
so that if you are sending your kid or someone is going to Philippines to do their MD, they are not doing their post graduation per se. Although it's a postgraduate degree, but you are not doing your post graduation like MD MS in India. It is a
Yes. Oh,
equivalent to MBBS degree. Only the
yes.
terminology is different. What Philippines or US or Germans or Russians call MD, we call as MBBS. Is it correct, Himaya?
Yes, ma'am. So that is what is MD. MD is actually the master's degree. Is a master's degree. So obviously, if you do a master's degree, you have to have a qualifying bachelor's degree. Now the thing is that initially when I came here, there was no senior high in the Philippines, so students used to have 4 years of bachelor's. But now, to this day, because even they have 11, 12 the way we do, 2 years BS has become very acceptable. So in my time, it was like 1.5 year BS is what I did, like cutting short the 4 years BS by getting credited for my 11, 12 subjects.
Hmm.
But now 2 years is a standard. Like even the Filipinos would now start doing the 2 years BS. So that sort of gives students more opportunities because they are the same level as
Hmm. Hmm.
like the Filipinos in a sense, instead of
Yeah.
being seen as somebody who got credited faster.
Hmm. Hmm.
So so that happened one
So
and a
it's a
half years.
equalizer now. Apple to
Yes,
apple.
it's
Hmm.
an yes, exactly, an equalizer. So BS is actually a very how do you say, it wouldn't be difficult for an Indian student to do BS because it's actually pretty much a repeat, like pretty much similar to what is done in 11th and 12th, but maybe depending on whatever you choose. If you choose like BS biology, it's more of information, like it's a bit more detailed and more focused on bio, which is useful for medicine. Even if you take psychology, it's more psychology, and you have a subject called psychology in medicine. So it's useful for that, and it kind of becomes like a review for the NMAT examination, which is the eligibility exam, which is a different story. But so the BS was actually a pretty enjoyable experience. It wasn't stressful or anything because it wasn't too much of a burden for me personally. I felt like I needed someone to calm me down after 11 12. BS calmed me down. And
Yeah,
actually
and there was extracurricular activities and swimming
yes,
sessions and games and everything attached to it, and
yes,
it had credits also. So everyone
yes.
is supposed to do that extra
Yes,
activity.
yes. So that is one good thing about BS. It was never all about like study, study, study. It had like swimming classes. It had like PE classes where we had to do like Zumba, or like we had to do yoga or something or the other. We had to choose. Actually, our teachers were quite liberal. Like we had to choose, but we had to do something for PE and present it to our teachers. Also, we had a research. So we had to do research in BS. Except that it kind of did, get a different perspective into like, how do you say that? It did seem more professional because we had to present, our entire research. So it kind of gave like practice for like the upcoming researches in medicine, which we would have to do later. So
Yeah.
that was
So
another
you did
fun
your
thing.
research. I know you did your research in psychology in
Psychology.
orphanage, I think.
No, ma'am. That
So
was that
how
was
was your
my
experience? Yeah.
so the experience in the orphanage was that I we had like an internship. So in BS you
Okay, that
also
was
have
internship. Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
So you also have an internship in BS. So we were sent to an orphanage to work for a month, and we had
Hmm.
to just observe the children and their behavior. And there was another option to go to a mental hospital altogether, and that was like the only mental hospital in the on the entire island. So that also was like a lot of experience in terms of psychology. Also,
Hmm.
it kind of did become like a practice for like medical students in a sense, because they got to go to a hospital and talk to patients, see how things are done. Like, I mean, if somebody
So
wanted to
pretty
become a
early during
psychiatrist,
your BS itself, you did all these things, right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
So,
it's great. Yeah.
so
And
that's
then what
why.
happened?
After that,
No,
like
means
the
how you proceeded with your research and how was the experience? I'm more
so
interested into the
eh,
academic part of it because it interests me more. What you were? Yeah, please.
So basically the research. So we had so research wasn't just, how do you say, it wasn't exactly just namesake. You actually had to it was very, how do you say, in a sense that very procedural. Like you had to present titles. The titles would or would not get accepted. If the titles get accepted, you still had to like defend your title. You had to defend your research. There were like a lot of corrections. We actually learned about a lot of things that go on in research, like
Hmm.
the different formats, qualitative or
Yes.
quantitative, that you might
Hmm.
choose, the
Hmm.
formulas for
Hmm.
computing based on if you chose quantitative. I wanted to run away from maths, so I took qualitative. So there was
So,
no maths involved for me.
no stats
But
per se. That was a stats, maybe more of a stats.
yes, so I ran
Yes.
away from stats. But it was overall, it was a very, very fun experience, the entire thing. It was very stressful actually by the end of it to do the research, because it had to be authentic. It couldn't have been something that people have done before. And because it's like, because I chose qualitative, I learned so many things that go on in research work. Like you can't
Hmm.
cite, like, okay, because I was a newbie, I thought you could cite anything possible. Like
Hmm.
20
Hmm.
years
Hmm.
ago research, I came
Yeah, copy
out
paste
with
mentality.
no, not copy paste, but like we had to, because we don't have any, what do you say, qualifications. You have to
Hmm.
keep adding other people's research to back up
Hmm.
all your statements and keep citing it.
Hmm.
But you can't cite something that is 20 years old,
Back,
and
yeah.
And yeah, so like many small things, but these are important in a medical
These are
career.
important.
These are important when you go ahead. So in a way, it
It
was
was a
very
very
useful.
good, yeah, very useful
Yes,
and very good experience.
yes.
In the future journey, maybe sometimes to choose your specialities or the faculty in which you want to ultimately do your practice, may be helpful in a long run. Okay,
Mm.
so that was your BS. So as I understand that while doing your BS, you are supposed to appear for a exam which is called as NMAT. So that NMAT is usually based on 11th and 12th standard syllabus of India, and some other inputs are also there. For example, reasoning part, some of Philippines history part, etc. is also there, and you have to simply qualify it with 40th percentile. Like in your qualifying is 50th percentile, and MAT is 40th percentile, and I think it's not a difficult exam. If I may ask you, what was your percentile score in NMAT?
So I got 90 percentile on
Oh,
NMAT.
wow. So you got 90 percentile score in NMAT exam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so provided you are working, and people do work hard for their NMATs, because they just want to excel, and they just want to prove themselves. Sometimes I have seen people appearing it twice. Okay, in first NMAT I got
Mm-hmm.
the score, but let me improve my score.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's a good atmosphere. Along with your BS, whatever activities you are doing along with the BS curriculum, you are also studying for your
NMAT.
NMAT.
NMAT exam.
Okay, NMAT
Yes,
exam.
ma'am.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you would like to add for that?
So basically, the exam is so like I think it's so easy for Indian students that I actually have friends who have gotten 98 and 99 percentile. So like many people are getting like really high scores because the exam is really how do you say easy, and also in a sense that you said Filipino history is there. That is not a difficult thing because it's taught in BS.
Hmm.
So, because it's taught in BS, because it's a subject and you anyway have to study it, it helps on the NMAT as well. So, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I understand, Indian students per se don't have to come in merit because your seat in MD is fixed. So, you only have to qualify NEET, but it's very good to score good in
Yes.
some exam,
NMAT.
which is, yeah, you are going and giving outside India, and yes, it feels good, and it takes you to a better journey maybe forward. It
Yes, ma'am.
increases your, yeah, it gives you a confidence. So now, Kimaya, you are in second year of MD. What is your experience right now? After BS is over now, you have entered into your MD, and I presume that when you were doing your BS, it was an only Indian batch. That means you had only Indian students in your classroom
Yes,
while
ma'am.
doing BS.
So actually, as I mentioned before, since we were the only ones finishing the degree in 1.5 years, there were not other Filipinos with us during our BS. But now it's kind of changed. So now because Filipinos are also finishing their degree in 2 years, the classes are again mixed in BS as well. So
That means it
yes,
may not, depending upon the number of the students.
yes.
It
May
may
or
be
may not.
mixed, or it may be
Yes.
complete Indian. If all the students are only Indians, then it can be an only Indian batch.
Yes,
Preferably,
ma'am.
many a times it's only Indian batch. Okay. So now, how is actually when you entered into your medicine? What is your experience?
So actually, when I
First year
entered into
MD onwards.
okay, so when I actually entered into medicine, that is when I actually started enjoying medicine and I knew what it really is. So before that, whatever we think medicine is, I mean, at least I shouldn't speak for everyone, but what I thought medicine is, it wasn't that. I thought like, okay, it's just, sitting in a place and studying and reading and, I like studying, but no, it's not that. It is a lot of it's a lot of patience and hard work, and I feel like anyone who wants to do medicine, they don't have to be smart or intelligent. They just need to be very hardworking and passionate. Because the fact is that it is very, how do you say, if you start applying it to your everyday life, it is like the most beautiful thing ever. Like people have actually found so many things. Like it is so beautiful in a way to learn about all those microorganisms that cause a disease, all the vaccines, all their side effects, how they are like not only to know what it is and how it works, but actually being able to apply it and do it for someone, to be able to help someone. So that part was really amazing. And because in my first year is when I actually started listening to cases. Like I actually started to we because we have group discussions in like here. I mean, I think because it's based on the US education system,
Correct.
we
Yeah.
have more of small group discussions where we sit and discuss, cases and everything. So we used to, that's when I started to realize what medicine is actually like. And that was the fun part actually, to,
Okay.
sit and know what it really is.
So now actually the external fun part has gone, and your study has become the fun part of it.
Yes, kind of. Not always. Sometimes it's very difficult to find it fun because it's a lot. But for the most
Yeah.
part, it's fun.
Yeah. So, what is the schedule like? At what time your college starts and ends? And
So on a normal day, it would be like college starts at 8 a.m. The first class is at 8 a.m. Some teachers are really strict, so if you don't show up at 8 a.m. and you decide to go by 8:15, 8:20, and they're not, they're the strict teachers, and they are the ones who won't let you into your class, and they will just not like lock the door. That happens sometimes, but generally it's an 8 to 12 class. So because it's such a long class, there would be a break at 10:30 or 10, where people just go and have like breakfast or snacks. At 12 to 1 is generally our lunch break. Generally it never gets extended. Like at 12 we do have our lunch break, but sometimes the classes extend. After that, 1 to 5 would again be another lecture. So, since it's so long, we'll have another break. Sometimes we have minor subjects, so it'll be like 1 to 3 and like 3 to 5. And sometimes it extends up till 7 p.m. But most
oh,
days we are done by 5 or 6 p.m.
okay. So it's
Yes.
almost 10 hours roughly per day.
Yes, and then after that, you have to go home and prepare for the next day because you'll have like group discussions again or some type of presentation. And like as your years progress, so now in second year, it's like we have way more group discussions. Immediately after a lecture, you are given a case and you have to discuss it.
Hmm.
And it's good because it's a small group of people, like 7 8 people, maximum of 10, and one
Hmm.
teacher to discuss like 3 or 4 cases. So
Hmm.
it becomes almost like a one-on-one experience. Like everyone will have to study. Like you can't
Yeah.
get away with not studying every single day. You, even if you
Yeah.
decide like I'm taking a break, I'm done with this, you still have to read the case. That's me
You
on
have
some
to do
days.
that because tomorrow you'll be observed. In such a
Yes.
small group, you have to give your inputs.
Yes, and if you don't, like, you'll be asked in person, and that affects your grades because all of this is
Okay.
graded, and
Hmm.
it plays a huge role in your grades. So if you keep getting low grades on this, then your overall grade will go down.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So it's daily studying. Basically,
Yes.
if you want to perform in your medicine, it's daily studying. Nothing like last hour study because you're assessed continuous on a continuous basis. Be it
Yes,
a
ma'am.
quiz or be it a group discussion or anything like that, you are assessed on your daily basis, and
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
graded there when you are having a group discussion.
Yes, ma'am. So there's a group score based
Hmm.
on like your group work, your team's work, as well
Hmm.
as your personal score. And
Hmm.
then it's evaluated, like it's
Hmm.
tallied, and then
Hmm.
you get your final score.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
Okay.
that.
Great. So on and on, it's a good experience what you are going through.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you sincerely feel that you are studying medicine.
Yes. You have
That's
like
the
yes,
meaning
I
you have.
sincere. Yes, I feel like even if I don't want to study a single day,
Hmm.
it's like even if I decide that I'm
Hmm.
done, I'm not gonna open my books today, I'm just gonna rest. I don't have a choice because it's a group discussion, and my group sort of motivates me, you could say, and pushes me to work as well, and I
To
have to
work, to
motivate my
perform, to
group as
get
well.
grades, so that
Yes,
as a group you are assessed properly,
yes,
you
yes,
get
and
good marks as a
we
group.
don't leave anyone alone. Like we have to push everyone because even if one person falls short or lags, it's our group score that goes down.
True.
So that's why.
A weak link in the chain breaks,
Yes.
and your scores are dumped.
Goes down.
So
That's why, yes.
everyone has to
and
perform.
like if you kind of feel responsibility also to your group,
Hmm.
because if there are people who don't work at all, then everyone else is so mad at them, because people come working so hard, like they have their entire presentation and they explain like teachers almost,
Hmm.
and you will feel really like the peer pressure will kick in, where you will want to work hard to keep up with
Yeah.
that.
True.
So
True. True. So everyone's expectation is high, and the benchmark is also very high because
yes.
you have set your own benchmarks.
Yes, at least in group discussions, it's high,
Yes, yes,
definitely.
yes. And have you ever, in your second year experience, have you ever gone to the wards, to the hospitals to talk to patient, or any history taking has happened with you till
So
date?
actually, it happens during the second sem. So as of now, because I'm my first sem just got over, but the other problem is that because it's COVID, I'm not sure. But generally, my seniors have experienced in the second year, second sem, they have had activities where they go and just talk to patients. And like not exactly talk, but they take like the history of the patients and they get to interact with them. But that
Hmm.
increases with third and fourth year. Second
Oh,
years just start to go to the hospital.
great. Okay. So, who is your role model? In
So
professionally, professionally
professionally.
means in the field of medicine.
Okay, so professionally, I think one of my biggest role models is one of my teachers,
Hmm.
who is actually a pediatrician. And because I'm interested
So
in
that's why you
pediatrics,
are interested in pediatrics as your
actually, no,
branch,
actually, it
as your favorite
started.
branch.
No, actually, it started with my internship in an
Oh,
orphanage
okay. Yes. Okay.
during psychology, and I realized like before that I don't know why, but I never really had much exposure with children, like to the extent of knowing if I really like them or not. But
Hmm.
in an orphanage, it's like you, at least the experience I had to go and like because it was like rotational basis. I got a chance to be around special kids. I got a chance to be around kids of different age groups. So like from 5 or 6 month old kids to like a few year old kids, and then I started to realize like I love being around them. I even got to experience like how occupational therapy is like for special children. So then I started to realize more and more that I really really love being around children, and learning from them, helping them out. Also there was a doctor there, so we also got to see a bit like how they take care of the kids and like how their vaccinations are done and everything in the orphanage. So that's slowly slowly made me realize I love kids. And also this experience with
Yes.
one of my role models is a pediatrician, and like I love the way he like during our SGDs is when we actually get exposed, like we because we're talking to doctors, we
Hmm.
actually realize like how they think and how we
Hmm.
are expected to think in a given
Hmm.
case, how we are
Hmm.
supposed to like look at things which are not that like which are not seen first to the eye, like
Hmm.
you are supposed to not leave any symptom out, and kind of be it like a random rash, but anything, and you're
Hmm.
supposed to look at every single aspect of it. And so I think that looking at my doctor doing that and also managing like his clinical stuff, so he works in a hospital plus works here,
Hmm.
and also his stories about all his experiences and his work ethic, so that's why. I think
He's your role model.
he is my role
And
model.
overall, who is your role model?
So I would say like my parents are my biggest role models. Like it sounds cliche, but actually it's because they have like the kind of like work ethic, the sincerity, like that I aspire to have when it comes to the professional part. And also like as human beings, they are someone I aspire to be like, like they are always so kind, so generous, so empathetic. They're never judgmental, and they never taught me like one thing they taught me actually was to always treat people equally. And I feel like in healthcare that is a very 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 important
Important trait.
important
Yes.
trait. Like when I say this, like maybe many people think like that that's just a basic thing to do, but when you like see people around you and you hear stories about doctors who are not treating their patients equally, or minority groups that are struggling, you realize how important that quality is to really treat everyone equally with no judgments whatsoever. So yeah, I aspire to be 100% like that. If I'm not already, I try to be 100% like that.
All the best. It's a good thought. You should be.
Thank
Okay, coming
you.
back to profession, you explained what are the traits of becoming a good doctor. So, any other trait you wish to express apart from being empathetic?
So I guess
Hardworking?
hardworking, definitely having a true passion for medicine, because sometimes it's difficult to lose sight of what you're learning is very it's actually a privilege to be able to learn
Hmm.
medicine,
Hmm.
and it's actually a very very noble job that
Hmm.
you have the privilege of doing. It's very easy to forget that because sometimes it's
Hmm.
very stressful. Sometimes you have a lot of things to memorize.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like you want to live like other 20-year-olds. You want to have fun, but you're stuck. Sometimes it feels like this degree is not ending. It's gonna end me.
ही डिग्री माझा जीव घेणार.
Huh.
Something like
Like
that.
sometimes I really feel like, am I finishing this degree or is this degree finishing me? Yeah, so there are days like that, and those days it's
Yes.
difficult to remember why I even chose medicine in the first place. So we need people like who always remember why they chose it.
Your passion. Maybe the aptitude test helped you to get more focused, because it's not only I wish or I think. The
Mhm.
science also says that I am a good person to go for medicine.
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
it helped
ma'am.
if you
That
have.
is also
Yeah.
important. Yes, I feel like.
Was there any cultural shock when you moved to Philippines?
So as such, there was not any huge cultural shock, but I think like Filipinos are also very family oriented. They are very friendly, very warm people. I think the only difference would be the fact that um, I don't know, it wasn't really a shock, but it was like, mm, they're way more open minded, way more expressive. So things that are
Appreciative, expressive.
yeah, very expressive, like things which is not like which are not commonly told to each other in India are told very openly in the Philippines. Like if your teacher is like happy with you for a good grade, obviously you get like you know commended in India, like, oh, you did a good job. But in the Philippines, it's just different. Like, your teacher will call you specifically, tell you how happy they are and how they've seen an improvement. Also, if you miss a single class, at least that was my experience in BS. In MD, I think it's hard for teachers to do that because there's so many students. But in BS, because there are not that many students, you get a lot of, and actually that's useful because you've just come away from home for the first time. You can be homesick, and the teachers are very caring. Like I remember I had missed a class, and my physics teacher, literally sat me down and told me like, what am I doing with my life? And I have a do I want to be successful? And she asked me, have you fallen to bad company? Were you homesick? What happened? She literally spoke to me, and I haven't really experienced that in India, but it felt like I was a kid in school suddenly.
So she
So
was
it was
counseling
very,
you basically.
yeah, and she made me sit like till 45 minutes till I actually said exactly how I felt like. Because in the starting, I was like, no, ma'am, I'm fine. No, ma'am, I'm fine. She said, no, sit. I need to talk to you. And till she actually removed it out of me, she kept talking to me. I think that was one of my sweetest experiences in the Philippines.
Okay, okay. So I have heard, Kimaya, that you also are rating teachers out there. So what it is like? Because I haven't heard any such system here, or anyway, I'm not exposed to that type of thing in India. So what it is like rating teachers?
So after every semester, we rate the teachers, we rate the departments, the different departments, and it's a very, how do you say, it's a very objective sort of rating where we talk about like the teachers' lecture skills. We rate that. We talk if we want some areas of improvement. Like last year during our like we had a review for a department to increase the group discussions because they're more helpful to us rather than lectures, and that was actually implemented. So whatever changes that we suggest, if they are in majority, our teachers actually look into it and try to work on it for the most part of it. So yes, so it's actually a very useful part to review your teachers, so even they know how you're learning, or how it would be better for you to learn that way. That's really useful.
So it's a mutual trust which is developed if you are so close, and if you are rating them, you are giving, and not rating them, but you are giving reviews. Like
Yes, ma'am.
what sort of improvement you would like to have, not exactly improvement also. What will be the more better way to teach us, or
Yes,
to
like
get more
actually,
outcome?
yes, it's more like what works for us better, what
Hmm.
way of learning works for us better. And yeah, so the rating is not to criticize or anything a teacher, it's just to give our opinion about what is more helpful for us. It's just that way.
Accordingly, they can change their methodology, and
Yes,
everyone is benefited.
yes, ma'am. That's the
Great.
goal.
Great. So, do they speak English?
Yes, ma'am. So
Everyone
because
out there?
everyone. So because English is the first, like not the first, the official language here. That's why it's like everyone speaks English. Like very few people actually don't. But yeah, maximum of the population will speak English to you. So that is one very positive part. That you
So
don't
you
have to really
would,
learn Tagalog to survive.
yeah, sure. And what is the climate like?
So the climate is exactly like Mumbai. It's hot and humid. It just rains here more frequently than Mumbai, but otherwise everything is exactly the same.
Okay,
Yes,
so
same.
climatic differences and cultural differences are very less as
Very
compared to other
less.
countries.
Yes,
Of
ma'am.
course,
Very, very less.
it's Asian continent, so
Mm.
more similarities are there.
Yeah. Even like the diseases are similar. Like because
Disease
it's
patterns.
tropical, the disease pattern is also similar. So if anyone wants to go back and practice even in India, it's very useful for them to, know the diseases that we have here because they're same.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what is the exam? Any exam you have to give when you come back to India? If you,
So
per se, if for example, Kimaya wants to come back in India and practice in India, so I think next one exam and next two exam, these two exams
yes.
are applicable now.
Yes,
Previously, it
ma'am.
was FNG and
FNG.
MCR exam, but
Yes, ma'am.
now a single exam. Even Indian students have to appear for next one and next two. The
Yes,
same
ma'am.
exam will be
It
applicable for you also, if at all you want to come back to India
come
and
back to
practice.
India. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's the same exam, so that is sort of nice that it sets an equal benchmark for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really nice.
So no matter wherever you are studying in the whole world, if you want to come back to India and practice, you just pass out your next one and next two, and you can practice in India if you are an Indian citizen.
Yes, ma'am.
It's,
That
I think.
that is.
So, what exactly is your goal? Where do you see yourself 10 years down the line?
So actually, my dream was always to actually go to the US, and one of the reasons I even chose Philippines is because it has a US based education system. So it makes it easier to study for STEP. Because in India, the syllabus and the pattern is a bit different from the US, so it would have been a bit difficult to study like the Indian system and then also work on the US system for the exam. So that is the reason. Yeah. So US was always
Hmm.
my dream to start, like work in the US. So 10 years from now, hopefully, I'm working in the US. I'm not sure about my specialty of choice yet. I'm confused between two, but depending on whichever I choose, either as a pediatrician or an emergency room doctor or someone in management, it's all I will take some time to decide, but hopefully 10 years from now I have a good residency and
Good
I'm a
resident.
good successful doctor 10 years from now.
So we can say that Philippines can be a pathway to USA.
Yes, ma'am, actually. Yes, because everything is quite similar. The way of question asking is also similar. Like the way we get trained for exams is sort of similar to STEP. So it's not
Okay.
like that shocking when you see STEP questions compared
Mhm.
to other countries.
Because they are more application based questions, right?
Yes,
If I
ma'am.
am
Yes, yes, and
okay.
even like the books that we use, our reference books and everything, is all the same as US. So
Okay.
that's why yes, it's
So
similar.
maybe the module and the curriculum, etc., is US based
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I think Philippines was colony of US for quite some time.
Yes, ma'am.
So they would have
Exactly right.
adapted the education system also
Yes,
meanwhile.
ma'am.
What about living there? Living
Uh,
meaning, and the question related to this is being a girl child. How emotional was it for you to come from India, settle down in Philippines, be here and be happy? Because
I
only
love.
being here is not enough. You have to be happy because back there home you have to convince your parents that look, I'm happy here as well.
um,
And
so.
one more question related to this many a times, which I think people must have been asking you also, is about the safety of the girls. So you can answer it in an integrated way.
So the first thing about like my emotions was actually, ma'am, you know the best. So when I first came here, I was crying every day because I was so emotional. But I feel my parents were stronger than me. So I remember calling up my dad every morning and crying my heart out and telling my dad like, I can't do this anymore, and you know because I'll be very honest, I was the only child in my house. I was never used to sharing. I was very immature and naive. And I was used to the whole world sort of revolving around me at that time because I was a child. I was like, I had just turned 18. And I know many people don't consider that as a child, most probably. But I had that mindset. I was very immature. And my mom was also as emotional as me, but she never showed it to me because she wanted me to go ahead. She never shared it to me. I never shared it to her because I didn't want to make her weak. And I think my dad was the strongest person in this equation, where I would call him up and he would tell me, like, no, you got this. Don't give up. Don't quit. You can do this. And I used to have a talk with him every morning. Every morning at 5:30 or 6 a.m., I used to call him up just to talk about this and cry my heart out. Another thing about and also many other people, also my relatives and stuff, told me like, don't go, and it'll be so difficult for you and everything. But I think that it's just the few months, the initial few months, where it's really difficult and emotional. And then you sort of get used to it. You never stop missing your home. That never happens. But I feel personally it helped me grow as a person. It taught me how to, live with others, adjust with others, how the world works, how people are really like, how it is like to do all your chores by yourself and not be dependent on your parents, like from cooking to laundry to managing everything, managing your expenses. That sort of helped me grow as a person. So there's that. Another thing about the safety is that for me, personal experiences, I have found it more safe to be in the Philippines than in India, because in the Philippines the culture is a bit different in a sense that people are very straightforward. If somebody is interested in you, I mean, they will just come to you and ask you out, ask for your number. If you say no, that is the end of it. Nothing else ever happens. People following you and stuff is like, I have never heard of it here. I don't know about other people's experiences, but I have found it way safer to walk around here than in India. Also, because this, like, everyone is very, how do you say? it's not a taboo culture for girls to wear dresses or short skirts or short clothes the way it is in India. I mean, here the culture is not like that. Maybe because it was U.S. colony was here, so that's why the culture is not like that. People just roam around with skirts and dresses, and nobody cares. Nobody looks at them. Nothing. They are living their life. So yeah, that is one thing. That's why
So
I
you
feel
feel that
personally safer here.
yeah, it's a safe
Hmm.
place to. And you are, I think, living in Philippines capital.
Yes, in Manila, ma'am.
And you are in capital of Philippines.
Mhm.
So that was your experience, and anything else you wish to share? Any incidents in these 4 years related to your studies?
So actually, all of these 4 years have been so eventful, and actually, I have received a very huge, what do you say, self-respect boost when I came here to the Philippines because, I mean, I don't know in India, everything was is amazing, and the study system is so good, education system is so good, and we're creating the best doctors. But because the people here are very expressive, I enjoyed studying here because I always look forward to that teacher's pat on my back. You know, my teacher saying, "Nice job, good work done." These things sort of made my day. Like, you know, when a doctor who has been working for so many years just tells you based on your presentation, like, you know, you are going to make a great doctor, and or I look forward to you becoming a doctor, and you know, I look forward to working with you, and then that those compliments is what I started living for, and those have been actually my best experiences here.
Okay, okay. Any other role model, Kimaya, when you take your journey ahead?
So
What
one of
what
my
what is that
Mhm.
that you would like to change in society, or take advantage of becoming a medical professional and then doing something for the world?
So one of my biggest role models is she's actually a congresswoman. I'm not sure if many people have heard of her, but her name is Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. She's extremely famous. She is from New York, and actually I look up to her because she always says things that actually need to be said. You know, be it about feminism, be it about minority groups' rights, and she I mean, obviously, people are not open to change the first time you talk
Oh,
about difficult and controversial topics, but she talks about them and she brings out solutions. And she herself faces discrimination because she's a woman. But you know, that doesn't stop her. Like, no matter how difficult it gets, she stands up for herself, she stands up for all of these people. And it's something I want to do. And that is one of the reasons I wanted to get into management, especially because minority groups all over the world, be it like LGBTQ communities, different communities have so much difficulty actually going to a doctor because they're scared of judgments. There's so many ethical issues surrounding those topics, and I feel like it sort of needs to come out in the open. People actually need to realize that they have rights and they deserve to be treated equally. And I wish to bring about these type of changes in
great,
society.
great insights. So, anytime you feel like you'll be coming back to India and serving your own country,
Uh,
any this type
mhm.
of aspirations you have?
So actually, at one point, I wanted to go to AFMC because I wanted to copy my dad because my dad was from the army. So I wanted to copy my dad, and I was like, oh, I want to go to AFMC. But AFMC had like such high score requirements, which unfortunately I didn't meet. So I had it in my mind that, you know, at least for post graduation, I could try for AFMC. I had that thought in my mind. As of now, I'm really not sure because, as I said, I really have US in my mind. But maybe if once I complete my residency, since a US residency is also recognized in India, I could probably just give my licensure
Mm,
exam in India and
yes,
hopefully
yes.
practice later. I'm really not sure, but let's see.
So, what is the role you told about your mom and dad in whole of your journey? They were supportive, they were emotional. Your extended family also maybe must have supported you. What was the role of your friends and your teachers? You have discussed about your teachers that they are so appreciative that you really look up to performing well in your studies as well. How is it like to live there? Because I understand that you are cooking on your own. But when I say you are cooking on your own, you always also there are Indian mess available out there. If I'm
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Indian
Yes, ma'am.
hospitals are also there, and mess is also there.
Yes, ma'am.
So, any experiences? How students feel when they go there? Because they are, I think, getting ready-made food also there.
So
Means
actually,
Indian mess is there.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So because there's mess, actually there are many mess options that one can choose from. Not just one mess. Depending on whatever they like, they can choose from a mess and eat them.
Mm.
So many of my friends actually eat in a mess, and actually it gets difficult to cook once college because the college schedule is so hectic. I personally try to cook just breakfast and dinner, but even lunch I end up eating in a mess.
Okay.
So yes, so for the most part, it's actually good, decent food to eat in a mess. Yeah, many of my friends eat in a mess, all 3 meals.
Okay, so if anyone wishes to contact you or get some more information regarding Philippines, is it okay if they contact me and I contact you?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, of course. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
If anyone has got anything to say or anything to ask regarding Philippines, and as you know, due to this COVID situation, the admissions are still going on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that is
Because
true.
due to COVID situations, people are not able to fly. Some of the colleges are also taking their classes online for this first year of BS, so they can fly down to Philippines in August 21. So admissions are also going on. So a bit of information, just I thought I must pass to the viewers, if at all. And if anything is required, they can just call me up. They can put a message into my group, and I'll be very happy to ask Maya and let you know about if anything else you wish to require or
Yes,
you
ma'am.
wish to have. Okay, so any advice which you would like to give your juniors, not exactly your juniors, but people out there who are aspiring to become medicos in their life?
So I want to say firstly, like even if you don't score phenomenally well in NEET, I remember the pressure in 11th, 12th is so high where everyone is like, um, do well, this is your only chance. If you don't do well now, your entire life is going to be a struggle. But if you do well now, your entire life is easy. So I just want to say that um, you know there are other options. There are always other options. Just have patience, look up things, search for them. You will find so many options, and don't think that that is the end of the world. There are many people in the Philippines who did extremely well. My seniors went back to India, cleared their FMG, are practicing doctors now. I know some people who also did really well in their masters and got a good PG seat in India. Many people who did well on STEP, and there are so many, like for example, Philippines. There's so many Filipino doctors abroad. So I think that the possibilities are endless. And if you get a low score in NEET, just don't be discouraged. If this is what you really want to do, then try for Philippines. I mean, in the beginning, it would be difficult to, like the homesickness and everything, but you will get over it eventually. And I said specifically Philippines only because it's closer to India. So, I mean, you still like, it's not that you're going to fly back immediately if you're scared, but if you lived somewhere, let's say you went like South America or something, it's going to take way longer for you to go back, or like other countries, many options. But Philippines is not as far away, so you could have that in the back of your mind. Probably, like if it
But I'm more
if
nearer to
yeah,
my home.
you're more nearer, so it gives you that cushion that
Yeah,
okay, I
it's
can go
okay.
home.
Cool off. It's okay.
Yeah.
So you are talking about the emotional part of it,
No, the
right?
emotional part, yes, that actually helped me. I told myself continuously, like, I'm not that far away. Like, if I really, really want to go, I can go back.
And you took a chance for MCAT also. That's what I have heard. That
Yes, yes.
after doing your BS, you can appear for NMAT for Philippines and MCAT for US. So if somebody
Yes.
is aspiring to do their 4 years of MD in US, they can take
Mhm.
this route, cut down their 2 years of BS, because BS is of 2 years in Philippines. They can give their
Mhm.
MCAT and then they can go to US as well.
Yes,
You
yes.
had a pretty good score in MCAT also. So you studied
Um,
for three things during your BS per
uh-huh.
se, your NMAT and your MCAT. And all the three you
Yes.
scored well.
Mom, you're being too kind.
I'm taking inspiration from you. Filipinos are good to appreciate. So everyone loves appreciation.
So, so the MCAT is actually a fairly easy exam again. I mean, not as it's not an eligibility exam like NMAT, so it's not that easy like
It's
NMAT. But
competitive exam. Yes.
yes, it's a competitive exam, so you could compare it to NEET. But it for me personally, it was easier than NEET because it has more scope. Like, it has more diverse questions. So let's say a week with physics, but it won't kill you because you have even social sciences. You have other things to sort of, um,
Take a pick
make up,
from, if not
make up.
just, yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So if you're not good at something, you
Mm,
can make up with other subjects.
mm,
So that's why I found MCAT to be kind of easier than NEET, but not per se, just maybe because of the variety, because of my personal experiences of me personally being bad at physics. So,
mm.
and being better at social sciences and other subjects on the MCAT. So MCAT is a fairly easy exam. It's not that difficult, but again, because it's competitive, getting a great score will be obviously the best thing. But there are other options. There's even DO, Doctor of
Hmm.
Osteopathy, which is
Osteopathy.
another thing that's upcoming, which is something that I also considered doing. But
Hmm.
then, yeah, but then again, because I was not sure at that time if it's just US, so I might come back to India. But if somebody has made up their mind, like it's US 100%, then DO is also a great option for
Great
them.
option. Yes.
Yes.
And now they have got the same entry point to residency also, like
Yes,
MD.
yes, yes, yes. It's the same. In
There is
fact,
no,
DOs
yeah.
have in fact DOs have an upper hand because
Hmm.
they have another exam which is
Hmm.
not open to people doing MD.
MD.
And because DO is not well known, but actually DO is way more holistic than
Hmm.
MD. And now it's starting to get also more competitive, DO.
No
But
competitive.
at the end, there's no discrimination between an MD and a DO when they actually start working in the hospitals.
Yeah, because at the residency they are same in the same stream.
Yes, they are same. They're same. There's no difference
The
whatsoever.
opportunities and everything remains the same for a DO or for a
For
MD
an
also.
MD. Yes, ma'am. Exactly the same.
Great. So coming back, what advice you would like to give your juniors?
Right. I would like to tell them to firstly not be disheartened.
Yeah.
Secondly, to realize that this is just the beginning. Like, NEET is just a small, small step, and there is so much more in a medical career to achieve. There are so many things, so many possibilities. So just to work hard. Even if somebody is considering giving NEET again or whatever it is, if they are that strong to endure that again and work hard towards it, then that is also a possibility. If they choose to go to the Philippines or go somewhere else, that's another possibility. But I would just say that don't think of it as an end of the world. There are so many options. You can take an option, you can succeed in life. There are many people who have before you, so why can't
Mm,
you? Like, if
mm.
so many people have, then you have nothing less than you. Don't let anyone or anything tell you that, not any grades tell you that you have achieved less, because there are so many aspects in medicine, not just one physics, one chemistry, one biology. And at the end of it, when you actually do the degree medicine, you realize that you don't have to be perfect at any of them. You just need to sit down there and work hard, persevere, read those things, learn how to apply them, listen to your doctors, listen to your teachers, and you will be good to go. That's all there is.
Great, great, Kimay.
Yes.
So I think we can part at this note. because
ma'am.
again we are learning some traits from Filipinos that we have to appreciate people. That's the biggest learning of the day for me. That sitting on the other side of the table, I realized how good a student feels when a teacher appreciates.
Yes.
The journey becomes more easier, and it's helping you to adjust emotionally if somebody is
Yes, ma'am.
appreciating you. That's the learning of the day for me.
Yes, ma'am. It actually makes you feel like you are worthy, because it's so difficult to think that one day you can be a doctor. One
Hmm.
day you will learn all these things. It feels so overwhelming sometimes because you feel like you don't know anything. Like after I did my first year and now my second year, and sometimes people ask me medical related questions and I don't know everything. So it's difficult to, you know, gain that kind of
Yeah,
confidence.
true,
So
true,
that's
true.
why teachers are helpful.
Teachers are helpful. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, should we close down the session? It
Yes,
was
ma'am.
nice, Maya, to talk to you. You could take out some time to talk to me.
Yes, ma'am.
It
Thank
was
you so
long pending
much.
and for such a long time. I wished that I could interview you because of many traits which I love in you. And
Thank you
you
so
know,
much, ma'am.
and you know that I had been with you for 5 days in Philippines. So
Yes, ma'am.
the way you were there, and now a grown-up Kimaya, Dr. Kimaya Lobekar very shortly. Very
Very
happy.
sure.
Okay.
I'm so grateful, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am, for
you.
interviewing me. Thank
All the
you.
viewers who are looking at us, thanks a lot. You have any questions, please drop some questions to us. Okay. Have a
Okay,
great
ma'am.
time. Chalo. I'll end the broadcast.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.